All right, we're on. Welcome back to the long procrastinated, ever awaited, most anticipated Wizard 101 podcast, Never Too Old to Be a Wizard. We have with us the usual suspects me, Sam, my sister, Catherine, her husband, Kyle, and today we were going to do a kind of news roundup about what's going on with Wizard 1. Catherine, what do we have on the docket today? Do you even know?
Of course I know. What are you talking about? So today we're gonna get into some of the acquisition news
Yes.
as far as King's Isle being bought, and then crafting.
And crafting, yes. I mean, that's most of it, honestly, so you're pretty on top of it. We're going to talk, because, I mean, it's old news for people that are super in the know, but for the more casual audience, we're going to just do some high-level talk about MGI buying out King's Isle and what that could mean. MGI, Kyle, who's MGI?
MGI is a media and gaming investment company. They own quite a few groups of just like games or gaming companies that are making mostly mobile games, which looking forward to the future could be a very good thing for King's Isle or Wizard101.
Yeah.
Maybe moving to like mobile platforms, even something like the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I always thought it
Really
was
great.
weird that King's Isle, they tried to dabble in mobile games, and I'm like, okay, you're making a bunch of mobile games. The only game that's bringing in money is Wizard 101, and yet you're not making a Wizard 101 mobile game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just too much work, but they're like, no, pass. But MGI's in the picture now. This is a real possibility now, not just a fever dream.
And people were thinking, with Wizard101 being the only thing going for King's Isle, really like making the money that they were kind of a dying company. But with this purchase being made at the top of the year, I think kind of in the middle of January, it was over $120 million to buy out the company, which was
Yikes.
a lot of money.
I think the other big component of MGI that is interesting is that they're very big on free-to-play games, which I mean, I'm not a big fan of some of the mobile free-to-play models, but I like them better than the pay-to-play models. So I think that could be cool. I don't know how much of Wizard 101 they might give free, because right now you get to play about an hour and then you have to stop. But
I mean,
anything would be an improvement, I think.
The MGI model says free to play means they can play for free but purchase goods subject to charge within the game. So it's not like
Yeah, but that's like
it's not
buying
gonna be
skins and stuff, right? That'd be the same as League of Legends or any other free-to-play game.
Well,
So you're expecting the gameplay to have more free content, is what you're saying?
I would assume you get to go to more areas for free, if not all. Probably not all of them, but more of them.
Yeah. And they might even do a thing, because if they do expand on that, they might even include it to where it's like the newer worlds. Maybe you have to purchase, but they'll become
Free eventually.
free to play once as they add a new one. So it's like kind of like the little like traveling block of like 3 or 4 worlds at the very end that you have to purchase.
That's kind of, I know Guild Wars and Destiny had that model for a while. Destiny's gone downhill, but they had that mentality for a while. And I think that would be cool. Literally, even if you could just get to Crocotopia for free, I feel like that's so much more content than Unicorn Way.
Yeah.
Fair.
About all you get now.
Fair.
Yeah, at least open up Wizard City, maybe.
Yeah, just get you to the door of Crocotopia so that people get to see, oh, there's a whole nother world. Oh, I like this one. And I just got my level 10 3-pip spell or whatever. And just get them more of a taste. But of course, I mean, all of these requests are a little self-serving. I don't know how good of an actual business decision it would be.
Sure.
I'm more big on the mobile aspect of it. I want it on my phone. I want to play it on the bus. Get my dailies out of the way.
This just feels like too much to play on the phone.
It's mostly a card game, right? So I don't feel like you don't have to have fast reactions or anything, or precise movement.
The travel.
The travel is, I mean, yeah, but they have MMOs and stuff on phones. People put up with it. I think you could learn to tolerate it. It's not, I mean, it'll never be better than being on a computer, and all the people that play with multiple accounts at the same time aren't going to want to do it.
So,
true that.
To kind of further expand on some stuff that we might see for out of King's Isle now that this purchase, mostly coming from a speculative Reddit post from user ED123498876.
What a name.
Some of the things they're talking about are there might be a possible revival of the EU servers, which is kind of crazy to think that I didn't even realize. I mean, being over in North America, that we were the only ones with servers that were still living from Kings Isle.
Well, I realized that when we were streaming. You don't remember that Elijah that was helping us was from Asia?
Oh, I do not remember that. That
Yeah,
was
they
where you're
mentioned
from.
that. I'm like, oh, they must not have any servers other than North America then.
Mhm.
So
They're talking about their.
I think another big thing people like the servers would be nice, but people are also super, super desperate that they'll bring pirates back. And when I say people, I mean
Yes.
the people that still like pirates.
You mean your wife?
I mean, my wife would love to see some new content for Pirate 101.
Most specifically, your wife.
Yeah, that's something that is being talked about probably as well. It looks like they're talking about it's a very unlikely, but a possibility of a new game engine to kind of like rework how the game actually kind of runs right now.
Yeah, I think they'd
Be pretty
have
cool.
to in order to get it on mobile and to
Mhm.
bring in more varied content. Because I know a lot of the
Mhm.
reasons they don't do what people ask of them is because they're like, "It is hard."
And apparently, with how MGI likes to advertise, we might be seeing a lot more advertisement and marketing for Kings Island, Wizard 101, and maybe Pirate if it comes back. So it could increase our
That's
player growth.
that's honestly what got Wizard 101 going back in the day. Because everyone you see online that talks about Wizard 101, the reason they tried it is because they're like, "Yeah, I just kept seeing these commercials."
Yep.
And I know there were a ton of them running back in the day. Even when I was playing, I'm like, "Stop showing me these! I'm already playing." But
I remember seeing them a lot too
yeah,
when I was a kid, but I was always on console, so I never hopped onto the
kind
PC.
of like those Maple Story ones where they're like hitting
Yeah.
each other with a fish. Do you remember that? They're like, "Why are you hitting each
What?
other with a fish? Because it's free." You know what else is free? Maple Story. Gosh.
What the heck?
I'm just I listen, okay? I watched TV in the 2000s. This is how it was. This was life. All right, and also we wanted to touch on crafting because we have all hit the roadblock that is Dragonspire. Kyle, have you forced your way through it yet?
Oh, I'm way past Dragonspire.
What?
I
Kyle is
finished
in the
the zoo.
crafting.
What's the one that we were on before?
uh,
Zufaria. I
as,
finished
yeah.
Zufaria,
Wow.
and man, that was Zufaria is where you get to the point where you have to craft items to be able to craft the item that you need for the quest. Like you
I'm
have to
already
craft
kind of
Congo
doing that because I'm crafting reagents, but I'm not crafting items.
Oh yeah, no, I had to have like 6 different reagents like 4 times because you needed like 2 Congo drums per item for the quest, and
Oh my god.
oh man, it gets rough.
I
All the
think I'm
treasure
gonna have
cards.
to do that because I'm trying to get through the Dragonspire one just because there is a house that you can craft in Celestia that actually has a PvP circle you can so you can just play at your house instead of going all the way down to Diego or whatever.
The
Is
roughest
that
part is that there's some things that you need to craft that require treasure cards, and some of the treasure cards will not be purchasable
Yeah,
in
you have
any
to
way
find
form.
them.
So you just have to go grind bosses.
You have to do that for most of the Lore Master spells because you can craft them, but you have to farm Lore Master still to get them to her to drop
Mhm.
enough treasure cards to craft her spell. She's
Mhm.
a whole thing.
I wanted to ask though, since I know Kyle's goal behind crafting is he just wants to complete the game,
Yeah.
like do every single bit of playable game, whatever he can do. But is your goal in crafting, I guess, what other goals can there be besides trying to get to a house or just trying to complete the game? What is the ultimate goal of crafting?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's gear near the end of the game that's very comparable. Instead of farming like a dungeon again and again, you can craft gear that's pretty good at the higher 100s. And also, the lore master spells are a big draw for me. I think there's like mounts and stuff you can craft too. They're a little weird.
I would assume so. I haven't found any recipes for those, but I haven't really been looking.
Yeah, but there's reasons to craft. There's reasons to do all of the professions in the game. It's just, is it worth it to you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. The only one I haven't really tried, I guess, is gardening, but you've gotten heavily into that.
Yeah, but only because I wanted to get into pets. I didn't really care about gardening, but now I found out it's super important because you can also get plants that drop. You know those gems that are
Mm-hmm.
for your items? You can get plants that drop gems for your pets, I think, and you can get. I think you have to buy the plants though. Is the problem? I think there's places to farm them, but they want you to buy plants that give you really. I don't love that concept. I mean, other than that, Catherine. I mean, how far have you actually gotten into Dragonspire?
Like, I got the one in Dragonspire, and I said, "This looks impossible," and then I
You
moved
gave
on
up
to a different
immediately?
quest. A little bit. Like with gardening, I can't see the end goal. That's kind of why I'm asking,
Yeah,
what are
that's
y'all
why I'm
getting out of
specifically
it?
trying to get past Dragonspire so I can craft the house where we can PvP. And then
Right.
I'm gonna want Lore Master spells. I don't know how far you have to be for that. Because I might only need to get past Dragonspire for that. I know they actually have the recipes at like in the Athenium, which is like a big end game area, but they also have them just in one of the Mushu dungeons. Get near the end of it, there's a guy that'll just give you Lore Master recipe. So I don't know how far you need to get. You want to look that up, Catherine?
How far you need to get for Lore Master?
Yeah, just see what the requirements are for the recipe. What rank of crafting you need. They have crafting guides for anything you want to look up. Like if you were saying like crafting Pixie or whatever the healing spell is from Lore Master, it'll tell you everything. And that's been a godsend. I don't know if have you been using YouTube just to look up where stuff is or what?
No, I do Google, but there's some forums that'll be like these areas are probably this area for each world is like the best to grind for this, and then I just go to that area and I change servers over and over and over again until
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean that's what
everything.
you have to do, which is kind of they're gonna have to change that in the long term, right? Because if they actually do get more players onto this game, that's a non-tenable way to get things. Because if anybody else is farming and they're like one realm ahead of you, you're just not gonna
Oh,
find anything.
it's happened to me
I
too
know
many
it's
times.
happened to me too. That's why. So the only reason that kind of works is because there's just not a big enough player base for it to be too much of a problem. So that's not tenable long term. They need to make it
For
easier to farm reagents.
the Mushu Lore Master spells,
Yes.
the spells are by Plague Oni, and you need Zafaria crafting level.
Whew. So
Peter.
so Kyle's
Very
already there. So Kyle, you can go craft. I don't think any of the storm spells are very good from Lore
The
Master.
recipe for Lore Master it's steep.
Are you looking
It's
at Lore
steep.
Master itself though, like the spell?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's an option. That one's a really good
Are you
balance
talking
spell.
about?
No, Lore Master drops all different kinds of spells, and almost all of them can be crafted.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's how some people say just craft it rather than farming and praying, like I was doing on my myth, and I just have a bunch of random like fire and ice spells now.
Yeah, I do plan on looking into crafting further on because I do like the idea of being able to just craft armor because I really would love to craft a helmet that looks different than mine right now, but that's at
Yeah,
least
I mean
comparable
I
as
know
that.
you can make it look like something else, but you don't want to do that till you're at the end game already.
Yeah.
Once you have your end game gear, you can make it. Okay, I need to find out where this. But yeah, I'm in Polaris, and I wanted to start crafting on my myth because I knew that's the one I would want to have the lore spells on eventually.
Mhm.
But my myth is not near as far as my death is. So when it was like, hey, you got to go to Avalon to get the mushrooms, I'm like, oh no, we're only on the first area of Avalon. That character, I'm not gonna be able to find it. But I mean, all the professions are useful. But I mean, Catherine, if your only goal is to level up and get more spells, you don't need to technically do any of it.
I mean, I would like to be better at fighting and like be better at leveling through the game because I feel like I'm doing it so slow, especially on my ice guy. But
I mean, that's
that's a
where I think the only profession that would help you there is the pet training. A little stronger for.
yeah.
That's why I'm training one up for my balance right now, just to make the game easier. I know playing with balance can.
Why are you even doing that?
Um, I don't know. I want to. They have cool spells.
Don't you dare.
Don't I
Don't you dare
dare
sit here and lie to me.
tell you that balance has cool spells? Is that what I'm lying about?
Yes. Ew.
All right. How dare you? Part of it's just
I
to
mean,
spite you.
They do have
That
some cool
makes more
spells,
sense.
though.
Don't lie.
They do. The three-headed Hydra dude. Dope.
Yeah,
That's the only one you've seen.
that's a good one.
No, what's that AOE where it's just like a big
Talking about Raw
ball of,
or Power
no,
Nova.
that one's cool too. Power Nova,
They're
yeah, I
all
like
cool.
that
That's
too.
what I'm telling you. All the high level balance spells are very cool. Where you get some of these high level spells for other characters are very questionable. Like, have y'all seen the caramel spell for death? Because it's pretty
I
upsetting.
have not.
It's literally like a gobbler, like from Wizard City, comes out and farts on them. I'm like, how is this a cool end game spell? Like, how is this my
Yeah.
biggest
Too?
spell? That's the death one.
So
Yes, he
good.
That's
eats a
awful.
cookie and farts on them. I'm like, this is
So
not what I'm.
good.
This is not why I'm leveling. This is not what I'm
I mean,
craving.
that should have been Myth. It sounds like, at least like
Myths
summoning
is
level
cool.
2.
It's kind of cool. I don't know. A lot of the caramel ones are a lot cutesier than you would think from endgame because caramel's a cutesy world.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's not like a Dragon Spire where you're like
Yeah, exactly.
death and destruction.
Let's see. Oh, we also wanted to talk about because they started doing that a lot with new spells because people always complain about how long AOE's take trying to play through the game.
So
And
happy.
so the newer AOE spells all kind of hit everybody in one hit, and I think Kyle was the one who found out that they're trying to apply that to older AOEs as well.
Yes, I am extremely happy about that. I actually saw it in a Reddit post a few weeks ago, where it's showing off the animations for all of the like original AOEs for all the characters like Tempest for Storm and Humongo Frog for Myth and so on.
Yeah, because I
And they're
mean,
all gonna
most
be
of
single
the
hit
time when
daily
you're
now.
playing through the game, all you're doing is spamming blades, traps, and
Yes.
AOEs.
Yes, and I very much at one of the beginning episodes of this podcast, I complained about how long AOEs take, and I wanted the game to go faster.
And mission accomplished.
Yes, they heard me.
They heard
Someone
you.
at the production team heard our podcast.
Heard
and
our
was like, you know
podcast.
what? That's
Yep.
a good idea.
They're like, you know what? I've heard it on Reddit 100 times, but the way he explained it, where he was like, it sucked. And it's like, yeah, you know what? It do suck. It do suck, though. I didn't think about it like that. Thank you.
Is this more of an idea, or if there's like a timeline for like this is what we can expect?
They said they're doing it. Kyle
Yeah,
found a
they're
video
working
where
on
they, I think a couple of them already have like a first implementation of what it would look like, but
Yes,
I think it's a little down in the pipeline.
most of it looks like it's just here's the animation. Like it does the animation mostly what it would almost look like just to the first guy, but then it does damage to all of them. So I think it's a work in progress for sure. There's not any kind of like ETA on when that'll come out. I would expect it to be in like in a big patch update, so not it's like something they throw on. I'd imagine there'd be a lot more things coming with an update.
They've been doing
being
they've been doing a lot of updates to PvP that honestly I've liked because when we had Fairy Queens on, I was describing how when I first looked at PvP, I just hated the way they were like, hey, you have to do a bunch of prep and use a bunch of treasure cards to play PvP competitively at all, and they've done a lot of work to make that not work anymore. Like they just the way you had to stun enchant treasure spells before the battle and then use them in the battle, they're like, yeah, you can't use those pre-enchanted spells in PvP anymore. I'm like, thank you. That was one of my biggest complaints. But they're also doing a lot of stuff to help balance when you go against someone that's higher level than you, or I guess no, it's when people use the sun spells as treasure cards in lower level PvP. They've taken that out.
Okay.
Because I mean, if someone hits you with a thunder snake in low level PvP, you're like, okay, that's fine. But if they hit you with a gargantuan thunder snake for like 400, you're like, hold on, that's my whole health bar. So they tried to touch on that a little, and they did it by implementing a new sun spell instead of the just flat bonus. It gives you plus 50 per pip the spell cost. So and I think it's up to 300. So like if you play a 6 or higher pip spell, it gets plus 300. If you play a 1 pip spell, it only gets 50.
Okay, interesting.
Which is a good idea, but other people are mad about it, I guess, because other PvP people have spent so long building their whole lifestyle around the old way of doing things.
Yeah.
But I think that's really a much better way of getting newer players into PvP than letting their level 10 get one shot by a ghoul.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, me and Catherine keep PvPing each other when we're waiting for. Something to do.
I win every time.
Yeah, I need to look up some how to myth because I keep getting wrecked. She just shreds all my shields and I don't know what to do. I'm like, send help.
I mean, just tell me, like, how do I beat Fire Elf? You don't.
I don't know if that's the takeaway. And Ken's like,
you can't beat Fire Elf.
Lose hope. Surrender.
Lose hope.
Quit your whining.
You think you're gonna win against Fire Elf? You're not. You're done. You're done.
I think she literally was just spamming Fire Elf and Scald last time. It was pretty upsetting.
That does make sense. Those do sound like spells she would use on you too.
Yeah. I mean, she'd use them on anybody. I just happen to be the one in front of her.
Yerp.
But, I mean, was there anything... What have y'all been doing in Wizards lately? Because we haven't been doing a lot of playing together. Have you played it all, Catherine, on your ice?
I've been playing on my ice, but mostly just grinding. You know?
Just grinding your way through, yeah. I'm working my way through the Polaris. I don't know how many worlds I have left to go, but I'm getting pretty high level. I'm like 107 now.
Yeah, you're probably getting there. I mean, I'm doing my same old thing. I haven't really been playing much off of when we're not playing together, but when I am, I'm just trying to get through some of the side quests.
Yeah, you're just trying to be as over leveled. You want to hit 142 worlds before Caramel is mission in life.
Yeah.
That is actually what's gonna happen.
I mean, on the plus
There's
side,
gonna be no level.
You are gonna be the only one with end-game crafting by the time we get there. So we're just gonna be like, Kyle, craft me things, even though you can't give me anything. They need to fix that. I guess that's a good way to avoid hackers taking all your stuff, is that they just can't give you things. There's no reason for them to hack you if they can't take your stuff.
No trading capabilities.
Yeah. I know that there is a way to buy other people packs, so worst case scenario, they would spend all your crowns on packs, which actually kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
What?
I mean, I've never seen it happen. I'm just, if I were a hacker, that's what I would do.
That's ridiculous. Why would you do that?
I don't know why I'm giving people a how-to on hacking people in Wizard101. I'm sorry. Not my intention. FBI, you can't come get me because you're not listening to my Wizard101 podcast.
What if they are?
No, they're always listening except for when we start the podcast. They're like, hold on, tune out. For
tune out.
He's like, I'm going on lunch, early lunch, 9 a.m. lunch.
I was going to say, that's always... You got to go get coffee. Hitting up the Dunkin' Donuts, you know.
All right, what are we going to do next week? Let the people know, Kyle. We're going to do a Storm tier list. That's the plan. We kept saying we were going to do it. We're finally going to get around to it. I mean,
you ready, Kyle?
Are we going to include the higher spells, or are we going to keep it 1 to 50 just for the mechanic?
I can keep it 1 to 50.
Okay. You're like, oh, I know which one it is. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he's been thinking about.
You better prep that PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
People are expecting a lot from your PowerPoint after the quality of Catherine's that you helped with.
Oh, it's going to be a million times better.
Did you do Catherine's or did you just help with it? Okay.
She gave me all the content. She gave me all the content. I worked on the theme.
Okay.
And, like, the design.
So Catherine was the writer. You were the producer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. I'll take that.
I was like, I just want my name in the credits. Okay. Going on my resume.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you for watching the Never Too Old to Be a Wizard podcast. If you want to contact us, hit me on Twitter at never_wizard. We got the YouTube, Never Too Old to Be a Wizard. We got us on Twitch, Never Too Old to Be a Wizard. We will be back in 2 weeks, maybe not. You never know. Subscribe.